right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Progressive Podcast. It is episode 108. Man, who would have thought? But anyways, today we're talking about navigating pressure in your relationships. All right, so if you find this, if this is the type of stuff for you, self-improvement or whatever the case may be, please do like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, make sure you take notes, all right? It's going to be nice and concise today. Again, like I said in the previous week's episode. And we've got 5 tips for you today. All right, 5 tips to help you navigate pressure in your relationships, whether it's romantic or your work relationships, whatever the case is. All right. And we've got 5 tips for you. And as usual, courtesy of Randy, we've got a fire quote of the week. All right. Cool. But before we get into that, here is our icebreaker question. All right, so our icebreaker question is, what's the hardest thing for you to do in high pressure times in your relationship? Right? Whether it's work, whatever. So high stress times, what's the one thing that you struggle to do? You know, I think for me, I get really overwhelmed. Like, see this thing, this thing, it gets so flooded. The other day, I had 150 messages that were not opened, and they just piled up. And I was like, man, and you know, is it a priority thing and I think communication, right? It's a yes and a no, because I will respond to the most urgent message, right? Especially when things get busy for me. I'll respond to the high priorities. Sometimes it's groups or this and that. And I tell people, please nag me, right? Because, if you don't, I might just forget, you know, and life will just go with me, you know. So yeah, I mean, I feel bad about it sometimes, you know, I must be honest, but it's a work in progress, though. It's a work in progress. And I think it's because my same phone number is the one that does the work. It's the one that does, you know, my acting stuff. It's the one that does my personal. So, hey, it's flooded there. Anyways, shout out to Bonaqua for the water. They still haven't sponsored us yet. But if they see this, please do. Please do the right thing. Yeah, gotta stay hydrated, innit? Gotta be, gotta quench your thirst, you know? Feeling parched. I think that's another way of saying I'm thirsty. Anyways, back to the main agenda. So for me, that's one thing that I find myself struggling with. I think as far as my week is concerned, man, you know, and I know it seems like I'm in a good mood, which I am because I'm excited for the content, but yeah, it hasn't been too great of a week, I haven't been sleeping as much because of shoots and everything. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not having the greatest of weeks. I'd say like a good 4 out of 10. But how is your week though? How was your week? Let me know in the comments, and maybe you guys might just cheer me up. Cool. Anyways, without wasting any more time, we've got 5 tips to help you navigate, all right, pressure in your relationships. All right, cool. And tip number 1 is coming for my throat, coming for me at the jugular. All right. Tip number 1 to navigate pressure in your relationships is communicate openly. All right. Be honest and transparent about your feelings and concerns. Clear communication helps prevent misunderstandings and builds trust. All right. So yeah, this one is pretty much straightforward. You know, everyone talks about communication. You know, I want someone that can communicate, whether it's romantically, whatever the case may be. And that's fair and that's fine. You know, funny enough, I saw something interesting where I think it was on Lad Bible. They did a poll, and the poll showed that a certain percentage of Gen Z find the thumbs up emoji passive aggressive. I don't think it is. It depends on the situation. Like, if you confess your love or whatever the case is, and they hit you with a young thumbs up, oh man, that's more than passive aggressive. That's like, I don't know, man. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough, man. But and this is something I personally, I'm not saying, as much as I put these tips and whatnot together for you, it doesn't mean that I am the almighty and I've done it all and I do everything perfect. No, I'm a guy. I'm just a dude trying to figure this thing out, and I find that, communication, as far as communication is concerned, a simple like, hey, busy right now, we'll get to this when I can. If I don't, within the next 48 hours, please remind me. And if it please keep reminding me. It's a busy time for me right now. Boom, boom, boom. And someone will receive it as, oh, okay, cool. I appreciate that. That's fine. And someone will be like, some people feel some type of way, man. Because they'll be like, okay, if you had the time to respond to tell me that you're busy, you should have just responded to my message. But you see, the thing is, sometimes you want to respond, to a message with undivided attention. Like you send me a paragraph, right? Like, man, you send me a paragraph. And I don't have the brain cells right now to be able to articulate a good enough answer that you can say, you know what, he helped me. So yeah, anyways, tip number 2, all right, practice active listening. Give your partner or colleague or whatever the case may be your full attention when they speak and try to understand their perspective without interrupting or judging. This fosters empathy and connection. We all have come across those people that just speak to respond and not speak to understand. And that can get a bit, spicy sometimes, especially romantically speaking, and for me, I do this thing when we're talking and you and I having a conversation, you tell me about your day, like, yo, it's so frustrating. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like I'll nod to acknowledge, and I'll make mental notes, and depending on the conversation, if it's like a really funny thing, like we're talking like something really funny, I might just like drop like a young meme reference there and we all laugh, ha ha, he, ki, and keep it pushing. But practice active listening. Just listen and try see where they're coming from. Even if you don't agree with where they're coming from, just the least you can do is try understand or make the effort to understand, That's if you want to, yeah, that's if you, care about that relationship like that. Cool. Tip number 3, set healthy boundaries. Establish boundaries that respect both your needs and your colleagues, your partner's needs, all right? The other party's needs. Boundaries help maintain balance and prevent resentment, all right? So there's certain people that I respond to their messages if they message me late in the evening or early in the morning, like in the AMs. And there's other people where I'm like, I'll see this when I wake up, It's just those boundaries, because I know that if this person is messaging me at 11, they had a crazy day because usually they're messaging me around 7 and they're sleeping around 11. If someone messages me around, what's this, like 2 in the morning, I know, oh, okay, they had a really crazy day or they just a night owl like that. Or maybe it's an emergency, So yeah, set boundaries like that. Like, okay, cool. I only take calls from this time to this time. If you call me outside of the time, tough. I'm not getting to it, and please don't be angry. That's my me time. That's me protecting my me time, and I'll respect your you time. All right. So set healthy boundaries, and it ties in with the first one where you openly communicate, and the second one too where you actively listen, because you find that people won't explicitly tell you the information. But if you just listening and be like, oh, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Same way I'm picking up this water. My throat's going through it, man. But anyways, from the talking of just talking, just like acting as well. Yeah, that's a lot. But anyways, we keep it pushing, yeah? Cool, let's get into the fourth one. Manage expectations. Be realistic about what you expect from the other person. Discuss your needs and work together to find a balance that suits the both of you. Listen, and this managing expectation one, it's very, what can I say? It's very important, romantically speaking as well. If you know you can't afford to take someone out to Santon or give them like what's something crazy, like a girlfriend allowance. That's crazy, man. You don't find that everywhere in the world, or whatever the case may be. Openly communicate, right? Whether it's your intentions, whether even if it's an interview and they ask you, can you handle pressure? And you say, what does pressure mean? Because for me, if pressure is meeting 5 submission for deadlines, reports, at the end of the month, I can't do that because I like to handle myself ahead of time. Be open, manage expectations. If you're trying to court somebody and let's say you want to get married, and just let them know. Let them know that this is it. I want to get married, and whatever the case may be. Anyways, there's no need for me to further discuss this one. All right, cool. Last one, prioritize quality time. All right. I guess this one's more from a romantic point of view, but I guess also within the construct of work, right? Spend meaningful time together to strengthen your bond, even in stressful periods. Making time for each other can alleviate pressure and reinforce your connection. So even within your team, whether it's at work, whatever the case may be, all right, team building activities, spend some time, have coffee, spend time where you're not talking about work, whatever the case may be. Cool. All right. So let's get into the quote of the week. All right. Pressure in relationships can either make your... Let's rewind. Here is the quote of the week. Pressure in relationships can either break you or make you stronger. The key is open communication, mutual respect, and understanding that growth happens when both sides are willing to adapt and compromise. It takes 2 to tango, guys. It takes 2 to tango. It takes 2 to move a couch. Unless you like really strong, then you can move it by yourself, but it'll be a lot easier if you can move it with somebody else. Cool. I'm going to park it there. I hope you guys got value. And if you did, please like, share, subscribe, comment, play it for your dog, play it for your partner, play it for your crush, because maybe that's what might just get you, anyways. But thank you very much, guys. And I will see you guys in the next episode.